Good afternoon, everybody. Pixie and Pete here. Just a couple of final thoughts on last night's draft and what's coming up tonight. The second round of the draft tends to be just as interesting. Everybody wants to know who's going to be the first pick overall, second, third, blah, blah, blah. And it's very compelling, and it makes for a great storyline. The second round of the draft is where we see a lot of trading, and we actually saw an abnormal amount of trading up to get players in the first round last night. I just want to touch again on a few of the storylines from last night with the quarterbacks, as well as Barkley and some players who didn't get picked. Let's start with Baker Mayfield going to the Browns. I said I thought he would go there. I know there was stories that came out that said that there was a good chance that he was going to go there. Most people still didn't believe it. They thought that either Darnold or Barkley was going to go number one overall. I've been saying since probably the end of the college football season that Barkley is the best player in the draft, and that anybody that passes on him is foolish. And I still feel that way. I think that the Giants got the best player in the draft, and sometimes these GMs and coaches overthink it based on what they think they need. My philosophy is always, if you have a top 1, 2, or 3 pick in the overall in the draft, you take the best player in the draft. Period. Now, I think that Baker is a good fit for Cleveland. I think they still did make a good pick. I think that Barkley would have been a better pick, but they do need a quarterback. Rosen not going to the Jets. Instead, they picked Sam Darnold. And then Rosen falling all the way to 10, where the Arizona Cardinals had to trade up to get him. And we know how I feel about Rosen. We already know how I feel about Rosen. The irony is, with that press conference that Josh Rosen gave at the draft last night after he was picked, where he sat on that stage in his Arizona Cardinals hat, and said, after the first 3 picks I wasn't picked, I started to get angry. And then I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to have to go up there and put a fake smile on when I do get picked and pretend like I'm excited about it. That press conference was dripping with irony. Because Rosen, let me tell you something. Son, boy, punk, the reason you fell all the way to 10, even though you're the best quarterback in the draft, is because of what you're doing right now. Because you're an arrogant, cocky, entitled California punk who none of these teams in the top 5 or even 9 wanted to even have anything to do with you. And so the irony is that you're complaining about not being taken in the top 3, and the reason you're not being taken in the top 3 is exactly the reason we see right now with you running your immature punk mouth. That's the last I'm going to say about Josh Rosen. Until next week. Was a little bit surprised to see Bradley Chubb fall to 5. I think the Broncos got a steal at 5. They were probably like freaking out in the draft room that Chubb was still, on the board at the 5th pick. So good for them. Von Miller, Chubb, that's going to be one hell of a defense there. They got a steal there. The Patriots pick up 2 Georgia players, offensive linemen, and then Sony Michel. And this just proves why the Patriots are so good year in, year out. I mean, they have the best coach in the NFL, arguably. The best quarterback in the NFL, arguably, even though he's getting old. But this is something they do year in, year out. They are masters at draft day. What they do in free agency and in the draft is second to none. And I don't know if that is the GM, Belichick, a combination of both, but they know what they're doing. And those are 2 great picks. You got a guy to block for a runner, and then you got a runner. And we all know the Patriots running back position is a very weird position for them. They seem to have a new It's a revolving door there. They pick up running backs for a year or two at the most in free agency, and then they're gone. And what they've done with getting Sony Michel is if they've locked down a franchise running back who can both run between the tackles and be a dynamic guy, on the perimeter or out of the backfield catching the ball, and at a very low cost compared to what you would get if you're getting a very good veteran running back in free agency. So I think what they did was really smart. As far as round 2 goes, round 2 tonight, very interesting. There's a lot of teams that have multiple picks. There's some players like Darius Geis that are still on the board, and people are all freaking out. I've been reading this on social media all day. People are freaking out, man. Freaking out about why Geis hasn't been taken yet. The reason Geis hasn't been taken yet is not anything to do with how he plays. It's the same reason that Josh Rosen was the best quarterback in the draft and fell to number 10. And they still had to trade up to get him at 10. It's because he lied. There's some character questions. I'm not saying I don't know anything about Geis. I'm not saying he never got in trouble in school. He's a great player. For all I know, he's a fantastic young man with a bright future. I'm not going to hate on the guy. But what's coming out about him is that he made claims during the draft process that there were teams that basically asked him about his sexuality, if he was gay, inappropriate things. The NFL claims they looked into it, and they found nothing. And reportedly, when re-asked about these claims, Geis admitted to basically fabricating the story or embellishing the story and making it up. Why he would do that, I don't know. If that's true, I don't know, but that's the reason he's falling. It has nothing to do with his playability. And this just goes to show you, and I don't know why, I understand why these young players don't know better because they're 18, 20, 22-year-old kids who aren't, completely aware of the magnitude of things and how to handle things. And you see it every year, and you'll continue to see it from here to the end of time, because then when you're dealing with kids, then this is what you get. Whoever gets him is going to get a steal. I mean, listen, as a Panthers fan, I would take Geis if he's there in the second round. I want a running back. I want a power back. I want either Chubb or Geis. I don't think Geis is going to be there. He's got to go early in the second round, I would imagine. If he's still there, I'll take him. If Chubb's still there, that's who I want. But Geis, everyone wants to know why Geis still not taken. That's why. I just told you. Go look it up. Go read about it. Go blog about it. Some of the quarterbacks that haven't been taken yet. Luke Falk. Rudolph. Rudolph is a South Carolina boy like me. How he ended up at Oklahoma State, I will never know. I do think that if the Patriots are looking to get an heir apparent to Brady, this might be the round they do it in. They have several picks in the second round, I think. I think they have at least 2, maybe 3. So I wouldn't be surprised if they picked up either Falk or Rudolph. In my opinion, I would say out of the 2, Rudolph and Falk, I would probably lean more towards Rudolph. But it's like splitting hairs. Both very good quarterbacks who have some learning to do, but have a good upside and a potential to be good starting quarterbacks in the NFL. I also think what we're going to see in the second and third rounds is a lot of wide receivers starting to be taken. This draft was backloaded with wide receiver talent. There was only 2, 3 guys that you could consider, hardcore first round wide receiver talent in this draft. Rounds 2 through, let's say, 4 are going to be loaded with wide receiver talent. And I'm very excited to see where my boy Deon Cain is going to go, and Ray McCloud from Clemson, among a bunch of other really good receivers coming into this draft. Can't wait. I got my popcorn ready, and I'll be going on another beer run. Bet that. Pigskin Pete. Check it out.